Welcome to Dimensional Shift, where we explore and actively deprogram ourselves, seek the truth of reality through expanding our perceptions, and focus on full remembrance of our true selves. As we begin to connect to our true selves, we will also see the truth of this illusory reality and the way it controls us through our manipulated perceptions. As soon as we fully remember our true selves, we will also see the enemy for what it is and how to rebalance the system by freeing ourselves and assisting others to do the same, creating a domino effect into the evolution of human consciousness. If you've always wanted to know how to timeline shift and quantum leap, you're in the right place. This is part 3 of the Quantum Matrix series. If you'd like to hear the first 2 parts, which I highly recommend so that you're caught up with what we're talking about today, go back to episode 6 and 7 and listen to those first. Everything will make a lot more sense. In episode 7, we talked about the 4 kind of layers of reality, and we talked about them from the bottom up. So we talked about space-time, we talked about the quantum matrix, we talked about energy, and we talked about consciousness. Today, as we talk about timeline shifting, we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to start from the top and go down because our consciousness is what drives quantum leaps. So the first thing I want to talk about here is the transmission that I received that I put on my website as a blog post about how we have to accept the price that we may have to pay in order to timeline shift. Whenever we shift realities, there's a chance that something or someone we love or want in our life may go away. This is the price we pay for shifting and for receiving the manifestation that we want in our life. You can check that out on my website, dimensionalshifter.com/transmissions, and I will also link it in the show notes. So when you're talking about consciousness and you're talking about creating the idea of what you want to manifest or the timeline that you want to shift, because they're kind of one and the same thing, you have to start with, does the thing I want actually align with me? Does it align with my ethics? If you're choosing something based on I should, I need to, someone else says I should, I feel like I need to do this, then the manifestation may happen, but you will probably be unhappy with the results. It's possible to manifest something that we don't want. Of course, this happens to us all the time, right? And when we have something manifest that we don't want, normally it's because we have something running in our consciousness saying we should, we need to, etc. You also need to make sure that it aligns with your mission on Earth. And the only way to do this is to get really good at connecting to your higher selves and connecting to your galactic team and making sure you're on track for manifesting the mission on Earth that you are supposed to be manifesting. And of course, if something goes against your values and ethics, your core being, as I talk about so often, then you don't want to manifest that. That's not something that will ever validate you, support you, encourage you. And again, it goes under that category of things we don't want to manifest or that will manifest incorrectly. Those are the things that we sit there and think, why did this happen to me? I'm not a bad person. What did I do to deserve this? Those are those unconscious, see the pun there, consciousness versus unconsciousness? Those are the unconscious manifestations that are running because we have some kind of, some people call them limiting beliefs, but mostly it's just that we're manifesting something that's not in alignment. If you start getting premonitions, whether good or bad, that will give you a clue that you either are or are not on the right track. If you're getting bad feelings about the things you want to manifest, if it's feeling draggy, if it's feeling like your intuition is pushing you somewhere else, if your gut feeling says, no, we don't really want this, something like that, then maybe you need to realign with your goals. If you're getting excited and you're feeling like you're looking forward to whatever it is you're trying to manifest and you feel like things are going to be going well, that's a sign that you're on the right track. And so once you have your consciousness sorted out, you can move into the energy phase. And the energy phase is going to be saying something like, how can we shift the energy around what is currently in place so that we can reinstall energy that will support whatever it is that we're trying to manifest? You have to be willing to release the things that aren't serving you, which again is kind of cliche, but it really is true. If you're holding on to the idea that being rich is bad, then you're probably never going to manifest being rich. If you're clinging to the fact that being lonely is the worst thing ever, then you're probably going to stay in that relationship that's harming you. The reality check for energy is actually going to be synchronicities. That means that you're getting signs from the universe that you're on the right track and you can keep moving forward. So, in order to shift the energy and manifest the things that you want to manifest, you actually have to feel it in your body. And this is a really strange sensation. It almost feels like your aura is expanding, or you have a totally new kind of energy shift into your body because you're embodying a new type of person to manifest and live the manifestation. The shifting of that energy is essentially you releasing the blockages and the new energy stepping in. These blockages are usually emotional. So if you think about this relationship example where you're tied to this loneliness, you're afraid of being lonely, and so you stay in your relationship, you're basing that on fear. And so in order to shift that energy, you have to be able to release that fear. Once you have the energy sorted out and everything is clear, you're good to go emotionally, and you've stepped into that new energy to embody the new energy of the manifestation, you can start working on the matrix, which is matter. This is when you're going to start making a plan and enacting it. So if you're the type of person that just likes to make a list and go, 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 before sorting out your thoughts and emotions, chances are you haven't had a lot of luck with that. If you have, that's fantastic. Maybe your consciousness and energy have already been sorted out and you're able to just go, go, go. But for a lot of us, we have to get the thought process and the emotional process down first. And so this is when we're going to make a plan and start enacting it. We're going to start making changes in our life slowly if needed so that we can start manifesting the thing that we want to manifest. And again, I'm using manifest as a synonym for timeline shift because it's essentially the same thing. You're changing something in the world, in your reality, for the better, for your better. If you get derailed in the matrix phase or in the energy phase, in any of these phases, go back to the phase before it. So if you get derailed in the matrix phase, let's say you're making a list and you're just sitting and looking at it, that means there's something in your energy phase that's not allowing you to proceed. You still have fear, you still have apprehension, you still have trepidation, you still have doubt. So you need to shift back, deal with the energy that's being blocked or preventing you from moving forward, and then go back to the matrix phase. The matrix phase should flow very easily if it's in alignment. Again, if it's not, go back a phase. The reality check in this phase is the déjà vu, which means that you are already living this life, this manifestation, or the process of making that manifestation. You are already living it in a parallel life, and your realities are starting to converge into the timeline that you want. And that's a really, really good sign. The last phase is the time and space phase. And there's not a lot to do here. This just means that you have totally integrated the reality shift, the timeline shift, the manifestation, and it's just become who you are. The tell for this is Mandela effects. Even if they're not on a global scale, even if they're your own personal Mandela effects, where you suddenly realize that your earrings are yellow instead of white, or you realize that, like in my example, there's a door where there never was before, something like that, that will give you a sign that you have shifted into the new timeline and that there are changes in the past that are being reflected in your new reality. you will suddenly look back on your life and realize that things will be different. The things that bothered you once before no longer bother you. The people that were always big pains are no longer big pains, or they're no longer part of your life. You will also be able to see how far you have come, and it will amaze you. At this time, there's not a lot to do except reflect and make a plan for some kind of new manifestation and new timeline shift. There's always, of course, always things to be improved. And so you can make a plan for what you want to create next. So the hardest part of this process is, of course, generally the energy and matrix phases. The energy phase requires a lot of the healing process, and the matrix phase requires a lot of in this world, on earth work. And though the matrix phase should, in general, flow smoothly if you've done your energy work, it can still be a lot of, work. If you're building a business, if you're trying to find a new career, if you're building a family, whatever it is, there's still going to be a lot of nuts and bolts involved, and you're going to have to find out what works best for you. But in general, this process will move you smoothly through the timeline shift and manifestation process. Let me give you an example from my own life of this process. In January of 2020, right before COVID hit, I manifested a trip to Fiji. One of my favorite authors was speaking over there at a women's retreat, and I knew that I had to go. I knew it was my only chance to ever see her speak. Plus, I really needed a vacation. So I got my head right. I got my consciousness going, and I thought, no matter what, I'm going to manifest this trip. If I have to borrow money, I will borrow money. If I have to be a stowaway, I will be a stowaway. No matter what, I want this trip. And at the time, my friend had been planning on going, and I told myself, even if she ends up not going, I'm going. And so there were a couple of barriers in my way to being able to go on this trip, and one was money, and one was time off work. And so I had to align my energy with my consciousness and say, I'm going to embody this energy of I'm already going. I got rid of the blockages where, I'm not worth this trip. And I got rid of the blockages where if I ask my boss, she's going to be mad and say no. And I borrowed the money and I asked for the time off. My boss was a little bit surprised, but she said yes. And I went on that dang trip. I went and got my vaccinations because there's a whole host of things you have to get vaccinated for. I went and got my vaccinations. I found my passport and I packed my bags. And the only other hurdle was flying. I hate to fly. And that was probably the biggest energetic hurdle I had, was flying. And it was a struggle, but I made it through. And so I got to go on this amazing trip to Fiji to see my favorite author speak. And it was magical, and I will never forget it. So once you get your consciousness right and your energy aligned, the matrix will follow. And then you have these amazing memories and experiences that you get to go on or do or feel or whatever it is. And you will never regret it. So I want you to try this process out. And it may be a lengthy process depending on what you're trying to manifest. If you're trying to manifest a multi-million-dollar business, of course, it's going to take a little bit longer than if you're trying to manifest, say, a stray kitten. But the point is putting these things in order and working on each one at a time until it's complete will help you move through the process faster and get that timeline shift or quantum leap done. So I hope you've really enjoyed this episode. It's been really fun for me to be able to put these thoughts into words about how I manifest. And please let me know if this was helpful for you. I'd love for you to leave a review. I'd love for you to head over to my Patreon, and I would love for you to check me out on social media. My website is dimensionalshifter.com. All of the links can be found on there except for the reviews, and the reviews can be left on whatever platform you listen to this on. I wish you so much luck in all of your manifestation and timeline shifting, and please, please let me know how it goes. If you found this episode helpful or insightful, please share it with a friend and leave a review or comment. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I host twice weekly open discussions on the podcast topic on our Discord server. If you'd like to join, head to dimensionalshifter.com/Discord. If you're on Reddit, come join the subreddit r/dimensionalshifters or send me a DM. My username is dimensionalshifter. Keep deprogramming, keep connecting, keep listening to your intuition. This is it. This is what we've been searching for our whole lives. Connection to our true selves.